Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, Axis Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick recap of what happened during week 2 of stage 4 of DreamHack Dallas CDL Major 4, whatever you want to call it, in beautiful Dallas, Texas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, hope you enjoyed the intro as always. And let's get right into the pick'ems. As you guys can see, I had almost a chill zoning day on Friday, but look at your boy, shout out Fwiz. I had 28 points on the week. So we are climbing once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are putting that belt to ass. Clap that up. Clap that up. All right. Now, quick announcement. I will be making a video doing a deep dive on the MVP race this season, Scrap versus Celium, and I will be comparing it to Jokic versus SGA. So, just wanted to say that I'm doing some hybrid content. We'll see if you guys like it. You know, I really appreciate everyone who's been here for a while. I know a lot of you guys are like low-key in the shadows and you don't necessarily comment as much. I did get a recent comment. Thank you to my friend who gave me the feedback on my mic. Hopefully it's a little bit louder. I'm trying to project more just because of what you said. So I do appreciate you guys. I know a lot of people in my Discord as well. A lot of you guys are pretty quiet, pretty tame individuals. So you're not the most commenting folks, but I try to supply you with the goods as per usual, part of our little quiet agreement that we have going on, you know? So, with that in mind, we kick things off with the Miami Heretics taking on the Vegas Falcons, Pred and the boys. You know, I thought it would be a 3-1. I thought the Miami Heretics had them everywhere that it mattered, which were the respawns, and it looked like your boy was right. So, they got the 3-1 dub here. I have the box scores pulled up for every series I really want to talk about in depth. The first one I do want to talk about in depth is Optic Texas versus the Boston Breach. Now, this one should be kind of fun to dissect. Okay, so, sorry, I had to do some stuff at my house, just lawn treatment stuff. Anyways, so Optic Texas took on the Boston Breach, as you guys can see on the screen, and it was a battle of the green walls. Which one stood tall after all? It was the Boston Breach, as you guys saw. I mean, the spoilers are given by the results, so I don't know why I did all that build up. Anyways, let's look at the box score. So, looking at it, Mercules. All right, I had to make the joke one time. I just had to. You know, I grew up, I saw the clumps. It is what it is. I mean, it's a gimme. If you know, you know. So, anyways, enough rants. Who but the guy who I told you guys about 2 months ago before he beat LA Thieves on LAN was finally emerging as a superstar, became our match MVP today. Snoopy, great job, brother. So, let's go map by map, brick by brick, and see how the green wall did not stand tall after all. All right. So, looking at map 1, we had a absolute smoke show on both ends. Snoopy dropped 30 and 23 on Hacienda, which is very typical considering the fact that Hacienda is not usually the highest engagement map. So a 30 bomb, definitely something to look at favorably. Similar story for Cammy. 28 and 25 is great pace on Hacienda. Phenomenal for an AR. You guys can see he did almost 4,000 damage. Cammy was just shooting and shooting and shooting his gun. So, looking at the Optic Texas boys, the only person who was consistently shooting and shooting and shooting their gun like Cammy was, of course, Hook. And Dashy, looking at his damage, he was too. 3,900 damage, like he was right there with Cammy in terms of his impactfulness, but it didn't translate to kills. And, you know, the rest of the team was just slightly out of sync towards the end of the game. And that's really the difference maker here. It came down to late game situations and just Boston really being very, very in control of their hard point game at this current moment in the season and how they want to play as a team. Now, in map 2, the Boston Breach, of course, showed that S&D is a game mode where seniority does beat just raw skill, right? Just picking up Mercules, sliding him in immediately was not an instant success here against a team like Boston, who is obviously sitting in the top 6 in our seeding right now, just in terms of, I'm sorry, they're sitting at 7 right now in terms of the overall point seeding for the season. So yeah, they're a great team. Like, you can never underestimate them. So speaking of not underestimating them, Cammy and Snoop, the duo, was back once again. 9 and 4 from Cam, 9 and 6 from Snoop. And then Persh, he did really well here. He was 8 and 6. So yeah, great showing from the Boston guys. You got a very solid effort from 3 of their 4. Now on the Optic Texas side, Mercules and Dashy, they did their absolute best, but wasn't good enough here. And that is how the Boston Breach got done 6-3. In the map 3 Hacienda control, the green wall actually stood tall here after all. They got a 3-1 behind a really strong performance from the, well, I guess the new trio of Mercules, Shotzi, and Dashy. Yeah, I mean, Merc went nuts here, 31 and 20. Merc was going nuts every map, right? Like he had 7 in the map 2. What do you have map 1? Yeah, he had 22 map 1, so not as hot, but Hook fried there. I guess map 3 is where he turned it on. So yeah, 31-20 in the map 3. Based on how Twitter was gassing this guy, I'm happy I had a few days respite to like come back with fresh eyes. I mean, map 1 and map 2, he was very solid. Do not get me wrong, but people are acting like this guy's like prime formal, and he was unfucking tradable. Like, all right. Anyways, great showing from Optic in map 3. Let's get back on topic. And then they chain that great showing into a dominant rewind map for Hardpoint, where Mercules is. This is where people started to turn heads. He went 32 and 14 on here, and he made it look absolutely effortless. Have you guys seen Sweat Bannon? When I met Scump, I told him that that was my favorite video, and he was pretty impressed that I actually knew that. But Mercules is doing the same thing. He was Sweat Bannon here. Looking at the game 5, we had the Boston Breach getting a surprising game 5 victory over Optic Texas. Surprising even me. Behind a 10 and 6 from Snoopy. Snoopy takeover is a real thing at this point. It's been documented. Cammy also took over. And yeah, I mean, maybe sensitivity training Cammy is indeed back. So looking at the Optic side, Merc dropped 8, Shotzi dropped 11, and Optic dropped the series. So it is what it is. They got it back, but more on that in a minute. So looking at that one, it's obviously a 3-2 for the Boston Breach. Let's see how much of the community thought this would come to fruition. So 17%. All right, so the community is pretty sharp. That's pretty sharp, honestly. And then looking at our last matchup of the day, just to segue, not to spend too much time on the Green Boys, we had Atlanta Faze taking on Cloud9 New York. You guys know I was pretty confident that Cloud9 would get absolutely stomped by Faze. Faze is 30 and 10 on the season. Cloud9's 12 and 21. At the time, they were 11 and 19, 20. Did they lose twice? There's no way they lost twice. They won the series against Faze. What am I saying? So they're clearly 11 and 20. And then, yeah, they had a rough series against Heretics in their next one. So let's look at the Atlanta Faze series and see what the hell went wrong. These two teams do match up very well, like I said in the video. So honestly, I thought it could go either way just with how strong Capsule and Spart have been. I favored Faze just because Faze has been consistent in this matchup. But I did say that this is always a matchup where New York look very good. They play them super close. And with the addition of Capsule and Spart, it would give them the needed speed to complement Kremp and Sib, who were just always the best players on that team, but they were always just 2 to 3 to 5 steps ahead of Attach and Mac, who were just playing way too slow for those two. So it looks like the matchup thing is important, like always, right? So yeah, I mean, it looks like the matchup is really strong for C9 with this new roster. In the back half of the year, I am thanking God and everything above and fucking below that these guys have no chance of qualifying for champs. Like, they have the same chance of qualifying for champs that I have of talking to Sydney Sweeney and getting her to successfully go out on a date with me. Like, 0. So, yeah, let's look at this series. Let's see how the Cloud9 boys got it done. This was definitely a fun one. Even for me as a Faze fan, I just thought this was a fun series. It sucks that they lost for me, but it was a fun one to watch. Like, look at this. 42 and 26 from Cell, 30 and 33 from Cap, 30 and 31 from Kremp, 29 and 29 and 31 from Sib, excuse me, and 28 and 29 from Spart to get it done on the map 1 Skyline. This is a map where Faze are definitely trying to get more reps. They were a considerably decent Skyline team to start the year. They were definitely one of the better ones, and their rewind was one where you were kind of like, is that a good thing for them, or why don't they play it? But, you know, I thought Skyline was the map that everybody was scared to play Faze on. Turns out it's not. Yeah, I mean, this got through. Clearly, no one wanted to veto it. New York, they're a very strong Skyline team. This is one of their bread and butter hardpoint maps. So seeing them take this was not ultimately that surprising. But I did think that Faze were a pretty good Skyline team, so I thought they would take it. But Like I said in the video last week, New York's new team, I like it a lot. This is a team they always should have had. If they had this team, they would have definitely qualified for champs without question. Yeah, they would have overtaken Boston surely. So that's map one. Map two, we had a red card S&D that went the way of Atlanta Faze. So they took it in 6-1 fashion, dominant S&D performance, Simp 9-3. And then, yeah, everybody else, I mean, they just did their thing. 6-6 from draws, 4-4 from Celeb, easy 6-3. Like, the Terrors just did everything. Now on the other side, Sip had 7-6, but that was pretty much it from Cloud9. The map three, Hacienda Control, a map where a newer team like Cloud9 can actually get a foothold. They were able to do so and win a decisive round 5 in this control behind 38-30 from Kremp and 29-33 from his new AR teammate Spart to help them get the map 3 victory. Now on the Faze side, Draza was the only one to go positive. He was 31-26. And then Celium, he went even, so I guess he include him as the most, I guess, successful Faze member along with draws KD wise, since he went even. But yeah, not good enough. In the map 4, C9 put this one to bed pretty quickly. And Faze, they are questioning their rewind potentially once again. I mean, this is a really good team on C9 side. Like the Spartan capsule pickups were phenomenal. They were just way too late. So I don't know. I just feel like the C9 team is very good. Faze played maps that they are not good on. They're not good on Hacienda Pro or Hacienda Control all the time, even though they are probably the second best team at it behind Thieves. There's just a lot that remains to be desired, especially for me as a Faze fan. When I see Hacienda Control come into the series, it usually to me just signals that like they have either an edge or, I don't know. It just doesn't always feel like a gimme like Protocol was before. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm out on the fence on the Faze Hacienda Control. I just don't like to see it for them. So I'm not going to get into it too much, even though I already have. Let's look at the map for New York. Looked phenomenal here. Kremp 32-23, and Spart dropped 34-26. So no mustache Spart is a problem. We might need to see him get some facial hair if we see him play Atlanta Faze again, because that. Seriously. Sib 29-23, and then Capsule 22-21. That is how they close the book on this series. And they look phenomenal. So hats off to C9. And of course, shout out to Dempsey. Shout out to my guy Dempsey. I know he's happy about that one. I gave him a little GG, of course. That's my boy. So happy to see him win if I can't. So yeah. Speaking of Cloud9, his team, sadly, they were not able to go back to back. Last match of Friday, first match of Saturday with a win. That goes to Miami Heretics, who took the first dub of Saturday with a decisive 3-1 victory. And then in our next series, we had a game 5 between the Minnesota Rokkr, and the LA Gorillas mates. So let's see how it went in the end. Why can I not talk today? God, Doug. I'm sorry, guys. I've had a long work week. I've had a long work day. I'm getting this video out so late just because I've been so busy lately. I've been putting a lot more hours in at my real job, so I'm just tired making content. So I'm sorry if some of the stuff is like not perfect. But anyways, let's look at the box score for this series like I was just talking about. Rokkr are 1-2 in the split. Their champs hopes are absolutely down the tubes at this point. And yeah, I mean, they might want to rewind and go back to the start of the season because that's the only way that they could qualify for champs at this point. Anyways, enough bad puns and good jokes. Nero, Emperor for a day, Emperor for 3 days. What are we going to say? I mean, the man dropped a great one in this series. No pun intended. 1.22. Et tu Brute head ass. The knife went straight into LAG's back. And let's see. Let's rewind. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I guess I'm way more hyped to like record this video than I thought. I don't know why. Anyways, 1.93 from Esriel. He was hyping this map. What the hell? And then Nero, his subdual with the 1.38, 4:30 p.m. Nero. I tried to tell you guys that is not a problem. He had 4,000 damage, and we didn't even get to 200 points all. Wow, this guy was frying. Dude, the fact that Astral had 169 seconds in the hill, holy, this brother had damn near 3 minutes. Just shy of 3 minutes by about 11 seconds. I mean, wow. Quick maths, right? But anyways, on the LAG side, the only one who could do quick maths and figure out how to rotate to the hill in enough time to get decent kills was Mr. Tyler Felony Johnson, who put up 3,100 damage and 26-19. So looking at the map 2, this is the way more exciting one to talk about. We had a game 2, round 11. I almost said game 5. I stopped myself. It wouldn't be a Rokkr series without a game 5, would it? So Nero, of course, the Dark Emperor here, was not enough to get it done. He got Etu Brute'd in the map 2. The knife went straight into his back, just like another Mad Emperor. And yeah, it was at the hands of Lunars. I'm trying to think of a pun. I took a classics class in college and it's failing me right now. So, anyways, let's move on to map 3. Protocol control was definitely one that the Minnesota Rokkr were happy to see in this series. Much like Atlanta Faze, Minnesota are a team that like their protocol controls, similar to what I said about Faze in the last series, or 2 series ago. So yeah, you can see why they like it. I mean, Geo sits top window, and then just farm skills. Kenny 16 and 13, Nero 25 and 15. So yeah, just great showing from the Minnesota boys. They iced up. Fellow 8 and 22. We're gonna look past that one, brother. Kiz 1918 and Johnny 2016. They had decent maps, but was not enough to get done. In the map 4, we of course had a 36 and 32 from Nero on the Minnesota Rokkr side, and then the subduo Estriel put up 30 and 33, but that was not enough to get it done against a really strong effort from the Bulldog and his duo, the O Johnny Man. They put up 37 each. Kisman had 29 deaths and Johnny had 34. But that duo is looking very, very promising. I just wish they had more time, man. Honestly, I feel like this team maybe could have made another move, maybe could have picked someone else up from challengers, try it again, but we just don't have another stage. So, this is where their season ends for the most part. And in map 5, the Minnesota Rokkr wanted to end this story with at least some semblance, of happiness for themselves when they closed this book. And Estriel was the man who wrote a very, very happy and inspiring narrative for his boys. Even though their champs' hopes are done, he said, hey, boys, we can at least enjoy the day. So the Bulldog on the other side, he did not enjoy the day. He tried his very best, but 10 and 7 wasn't enough to will that LAG team to a victory. Now, in our next matchup, we had the LA Thieves putting record belt to ass on them Vegas Falcons boys. Excuse me, I could not find my words for a second. With a hot 3-0, and yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. Similarly, Optic Texas, another team that I chose to get a dub on Saturday. It felt good to have a good Saturday because look at my last one. Look at my last one, guys. Oh, whole lot of red. Anyways, back to the green. Optic Texas, the green wall, the green. They stood tall over the Royal Ravens after all, and they got a hot 3-0. Mercules looked like Himothy, Chalamet, whatever you want to call that, brother. He was moonwalking on the map like MJ. Look at him. 65 and 43, 1.5 when their head dubs. So 250 to 183 is how they got it done on Vault Map 1, behind 35 and 25 from the Warlord himself, Mr. Shotzi Anthony himself, and his duo who put up 1.17, with 27 and 23. And then on the opposite side, TJ Halley did his absolute best, him and Dylan Rex, but 29 and 28 and 25 and 26 was not enough, evidently, to get it done on this Vault HP. Map 2, Dealership S&D, another map that Optic is becoming quite consistently good at. They won this one 6-4 behind a 9 and 7 performance from Merc and a 9 and 6 from Hook. So they did really well in this one, and they looked phenomenal. And then Gwyn on the other side, he was playing spoiler a lot. He was so slippery in this one. And yeah, Slasher had a great map, and so did TJ as well. But Optic, they were just way more dominant here. Map 3, Vault Control, where the series ended. We, of course, had a Mercules masterclass to send them boys back to the lobby. 34 and 11. He was everywhere on the map. This is where the Optic glazing started happening, to be honest with you. They farmed Carolina, and then everybody started glazing Merc crazy. I get it. Optic has had such a rough season. As a fan, when you improve, you have to really appreciate the improvements, and you have to really as a fan base celebrate them when you've had such a tough time. I'm a Knicks fan, so I 100% get it. I'm not going to say some reductive shit like copium or some lame shit to get clicks. I'm not even a fan of the team, but it's just corny. So yeah, I'm happy for the Optic fans. You guys are getting back in the mix. That team looks phenomenal, and I think that they can definitely move up in the grand scheme of things. So, looking at how we started things off on Sunday, on Mother's Day, I was sick. So, yeah, I mean, I just spent the day when I was up, it was just a family day for me. I didn't turn on the watch party. I wasn't feeling well until about 6 p.m. anyways, so it was cooked. But anyways, we had a day of 3-0, so I guess I got the day off anyways. The teams were all just like, "Hey guys, go be with your moms." Appreciate it, guys. Good looks. So in our first matchup, we had the Vancouver Surge taking on the Boston Breach. Quick 3-0 for the Vancouver Surge. Faze took on the LA Gorillas. Quick 3-0 for them. And then we closed things out with the Toronto Ultra farming the Minnesota Rokkr for a quick 3-0 to close out Sunday. I just don't see a point in talking about the box scores like in depth. I mean, we can look at them just to see if anything interesting happens inside and watch matches. I don't know what kind of cash version of this site I was looking at, but yeah, okay. So this was not close. 250 to 189 was the only close map in the series. It looks like you got a really good online series from Nasty. Neptune had really not one of his best, but not even a bad one. Abuza had a phenomenal series in 04 as well. So it looks like the Abuza 04 combo undefeated still. And then on the other side, Purge had a great series, and then Wake was right there with them. So that Wake Purge duo popped off, and that's pretty much it for Boston. Looking at map one, let's see who went off. Purge 40 and 32 for the L is fucking insane. Sorry for my French. Abuza 43, I guess his 40 was stronger. 5,000 damage, god damn. Alt F4 this tab. That's all I needed to see. Faze, belt to ass. Okay, let's check out the round 11. Oh, box score first. Kismet 59, free the Bulldog. Once again, let's keep that narrative going. Johnny Neg 23, that's tough, but it's online, so I'm not going to hold that against him that crazy. Celium 1.45, draws 1.09, and Simp 1.22. Guessing that sells MVP, right? Yep, sells MVP. And map 1, map 2, round 11. Let's see who popped off. So Kismet dropped 10. Bulldog did Bulldog things. Fellow dropped 9. Lunars dropped 9. Great from that AR duo of Lunars and Fellow. And then on the other side, Celium and his AR duo draws takeover mode. 10 and 7 from Cell and 9 and 6 from draws. And then Simp was there with 8 and 8. Let's check out the round 11 since I didn't watch it. Shout out to Breaking Point for having these
actually
clips.
Hits on the backside of the shelves. And here comes the play forward. And draws it. Yeah, I was going to say he's seen Johnny. And another first blood comes through. And LG are going to be tracked on site. They don't
draws first blood. A Beezy. Too easy for a Beezy.
Now it has to be a 2v4 in total for LAG.
And now here Atlanta Faze.
Technical 2v4. We know it doesn't happen.
Man up advantage already draws at 21 HP. Just gonna play second slash bomb down across the map. Makes it a 1v2.
Yeah, doable, but in
that
trouble
was a nice
and running out of time,
fellow,
like you
not
mentioned.
gonna lie.
But off the regen, back to full health.
Well, he doesn't get another one.
Has a chance to possibly isolate. Doesn't get the first look at draws it cleanly.
He finished on 9.
Simp goes unnoticed, unknown to that point as well. Fellow.
Ultra versus Rokkr. Okay, this skyline got close. Let's check out how it finishes. Insane finish. Okay.
The play. Oh, he might have Nero.
2 actual 10 EP.
Cuts down inside through mid. Nero, another 2. Kenny on the break. Rokkr are in. They don't have the flip, dude. These are
Joseph
from hell. Ultra gonna hit this from
every Toby.
And look at that 4-man wipe, and now they got the spawns. It is a skyline at its absolute best. And here we go. Ultra trying to hold on. Beans trying to make the play. Push the reinforcements. He gets a little bit of intel. Kleenex on a close corner. Another hardpoint break. You've got kills.
Kleenex corner. Okay.
Kleenex finds another.
Ooh! You should not. You should not get that 2-piece. That guy was a bullet though.
Spawns again. Spawns for new again, but you can win it here, Toronto. Someone has to go from Rokkr over towards this time. You don't have time to waste. It's 247, 246. You can't
what a hold from Rokkr. I'm sorry. What a hold from Rokkr. What a hold from Ultra. Oh my. Ending on a P3 that way is actually insane. Like, P3 is not that easy to hold. So that's very typical from the Toronto Ultra. That's a great way to close out this recap. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone if you enjoyed this video or if you think that they will. I really appreciate all you guys, even those of you who support in the shadows. All support is good support. So thank you guys for all the love over these last 7 years. Like I always say, I do really appreciate it. As you guys know, my goal is always just to provide the best free help I can to other people in this community and to get more people into the game. So thanks for meeting all of my best intentions with kindness and grace. And yeah, I hope we continue to build a great community full of great, like-minded people. And I really appreciate you guys. So that was just important to me to say. It was on my heart. And I hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night wherever you may be on this beautiful planet. And once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News, Axe Rotation, however the flip you know me, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.